Hi, it is October 23rd. Thank you for joining me here at Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. My name is Cindy. So things have been sort of busy in this last couple of weeks with everything that's been going on in Washington. And, you know, we've looked into a lot of the key players. So what I thought I would do today, because really it's something I'm kind of curious about, is to know how the inquiry is going, like behind the scenes. What's going on there? Just what's going on? I want to know. I'm nosy. All right, so I have a question. Come on down. We're going to check out the impeachment inquiry. Come on down. All right, so let me give it one more quick shuffle. Okay, so Trump impeachment inquiry, Trump impeachment inquiry, Trump impeachment inquiry. There we go. Excellent, excellent. So we have the power of women celebrating. We have, Nancy Pelosi and, people who are going, other female members of the inquiry. And honestly, I don't know who they are, if they are. The women, female testimony, female, judges and juries on the outside that are also impacting sort of Trump in terms of, wins and losses. He seems to be doing a lot of losing these days in the courts. So he's got a lot of female energy pushing back against him, and they are in celebration. As frankly, as well they should be, okay? Like, enough of this guy with his attitudes and his opinions. So that is a really excellent place to start. They cannot believe all of the dirt that's coming out. I mean, they knew it was bad, but even they, and I'm talking about, the Democrats, and frankly, some of the Republicans, they knew it was bad, but they didn't know how bad it was. Well, now they know how bad it is. They're starting to get a really, really clear picture of how bad it is and what a colossal threat he is to the government. And so their purpose and their objective is to just keep the government safe. That is actually their first priority. Restraining him, impeaching him, convicting him, getting him out of office, in some ways is actually secondary to the need that they now feel to really, really get the government protected against him and against what has been going on behind the scenes. They understand that part of their goal, part of what they need to accomplish, is they need to change people's minds. They need to, I think, right now the polls are saying that between 50 and 52% of Americans want him not only impeached, but removed from office. They understand that has to creep up a little bit higher, maybe 58, 60. I don't know how doable that is, but I wouldn't be surprised if it actually happens because, day by day, what you're getting for the most part is these releases of opening statements and or little bits and pieces that are sort of released to the media. And they understand that drip, drip, drip. They understand if they keep putting out little nuggets, they're going to keep people interested and focused on this, and they're going to change minds. For those of us who wanted him out of office, like, what was that, like November, 21st? No, that was January. So anyways, from day one, we wanted him out. But there's a bunch of people who didn't and who like him and who wanted him there. Now, slowly but surely, Republicans, and even in fact some Republicans who have been lifetime Republicans, are starting to sing a different tune. And what you're left with again is that sort of hardcore base who they're just going to believe anything. So in some ways you almost have to discount them because their numbers are shrinking and shrinking. But there's a lot more people whose minds need to be changed. And so the hangman often represents a change of attitude or ideas or thinking, but it also represents sort of a self-sacrifice. And so that is actually part of going on. That sacrifice boils down to, we could do this tomorrow, but we need to just pull back a little bit, and we need to make sure that we get as many people on board. This cannot be a squeaker. This has got to be overwhelming. And you have more and more Republicans just very slowly starting to crack. And so the strategy is very clean and it is very decisive. There's no kind of confusion about what their strategy is. It's very clear, and they're marching forward with it. They are assessing. They are holding some things in secret, right? They're keeping things quiet. They are, again, in some ways, really surprised by it's not always exactly the testimony that surprises them, but honestly, the blessings of those notes and, the contemporaneous notes that were taken. It is the blessings of having such high caliber and high respected people coming to testify, because all of that builds their case stronger and stronger. And you have the Ace of Wands here. So when they come out with their story, when the communications open up and things start getting like really, really released to the public on an ongoing, steady basis, you are going to see that there are no cracks in the presentation. It is solid, it is straightforward, it is clean cut. And they are going to use those communications literally like a big club, okay? When this stuff gets released, they're not gonna pull any punches. It's all coming out, except of course for, the stuff that can't come out because of, security or whatever. But it's coming out. And at that point, you should see, just everyday people going, this is insane, like insane. There's too much of this nonsense going on in the government. This is it. Mostly, I think what people are going to get really upset about, it's kind of weird, but what the pentacles in this case are literally representing taxes. They're representing the government. They're representing people's homes and foundations. And what they're saying, what is going to happen is people are going to say, you know what? Enough. Our taxes are being abused. There is no concern for the safety of the country. Everything with this man is about accumulating for his personal goals and benefits. And people are not going to be able to look away from the truth. They're going to face it. Here, this figure is still looking away from the truth, but I'm telling you, it's going to turn around and face the truth, and it's not going to like what it sees. So, understand that what is going on is that people's opinions are being changed week by week by week. So here we have Trump, and here we have a very powerful female energy, and here we have, looking outward, the beginnings of a plan that is going to culminate in success. It is going to create the change of the world and the change of attitudes that they need to see happen in significant numbers to push this thing sort of forward and like through the gate, okay? The judgment is going to be harsh. And that is their strength. I mean, as they're hearing this testimony, they understand that the case against him is so strong and the judgments are going to be severe. And what you've got here, this actually represents the Republicans who are part of that committee. So what I'm saying here is even the ones who try to defend him publicly, I think it was Mark Meadows, I could be wrong, came out yesterday and said, I don't see anything. Nothing has been seen. I don't see nothing. Well, Mark Meadows wouldn't see anything if it was, punching him in the nose, because he's blind to anything but keeping Trump in power. But you notice a whole bunch of the other Republicans aren't saying very much. And what they are saying kind of boils down to, this is concerning. This is not good. So fewer and fewer people basically are defending him. The tides are turning against Trump and that administration. And frankly, the tides are turning against, Pence and Pompeo and Barr. But primarily they're turning against Trump. They can't defend him. There is going to be success in their goal. So, under Adam Schiff, kind of under the umbrella that Nancy Pelosi has kind of created, they are going to have success going forward, accomplishing what they're trying to accomplish. And again, a lot of this boils down to abuse of power, money, possessions, the election. It's all very, very selfish. And that is ultimately what's going to get people's backs up. That and the fact that he has, in a very short period of time, managed to virtually destroy established norms that have been in place and evolving for more than 200 years. He is just like, a bull in a china shop, right? I mean, he just destroys everything he comes in contact with. And that is going to be, again, part of what changes the attitudes in greater numbers. They could not be more pleased. Like, they literally could not be more pleased. In fact, sometimes it's actually hard for them to kind of contain their excitement when they come out and they're talking in front of cameras and stuff, because they understand that this needs to be sober. They understand that this cannot be seen as petty or, the whole, you're just upset because you didn't win the election nonsense. They understand that there needs, and they're not wrong, okay? There needs to be sobriety. This is a significant and serious thing that is going on in the United States right now with the impeachment of a president. There's a reason why it doesn't happen every 2 or 3 terms of office. It's a big deal. But they are pleased. They are very pleased about what is being said behind the scenes. And they're very pleased about what is being said or released in public to start informing the people a little bit at a time. So they're in good shape. Things are going to go, certainly looks like they're going to go very, very well. You are going to see more Republicans siding with the Democrats. I would not be surprised that at some point when that House vote is taken, before, I think, because they do a vote, I believe, before it's going to go to the Senate, you are going to see Republicans crossing the aisle because they can no longer justify, explain, or excuse. Yeah. Yeah. You know, these are the Republicans, okay? So at some point, they're going to realize they need to get themselves out of these turbulent waters if they hope to be able to move forward with their own personal careers. They're going to take what they can, salvage what they can, and ultimately they are not going to have a way to communicate to justify, to verbally explain away what has been going on behind the scenes. They're running out of things to say and options. So look for that to happen slowly as this continues to unfold. Now, I said before, and haven't received any energetic impressions that suggest to me that this is going, that it's altered significantly. I think that by Thanksgiving time, you should be at a place where a fair amount of public testimony has started to happen. It would not surprise me at all if between Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving, and the end of the year, there is really, really some incredibly significant shifting going on. And part of the reason for that, and part of the reason they're going to sort of push this thing along as quickly as they can while gathering as much support as they can, is because you have a budget coming up at the end of December to keep your government going. And there is no question that given a half a chance, he is going to use the impeachment situation as the excuse to shut down the government again. But this time, the Mitch McConnells of the world are going to be, it's not happening. We're not going to allow that to happen. So either the budget's going to go through. I think the budget can go through if it goes through with a veto-proof majority. I'm not positive on that, but definitely the Republicans are going to do what they can do to push this thing ahead and through, because the last thing they need is this Republican government being known as the Grinch, right? The people who are stealing Christmas every darn year. So, it's interesting. Right now they're in retreat. Right now they're making hard decisions. But ultimately going forward, there is going to be those who step forward and say, we can't condone this anymore. So that is also really, really good news, because there is a weakening of that, wall of resistance around Trump. It is starting to crumble. Now, it's crumbling in slow motion. But if you look at it objectively, it's crumbling in a very fast, slow motion. I mean, if you compare the timing of this to the Nixon, or even the sequence of events with the Clinton situation, it was much slower. It took longer. This really is clipping along at a pretty good pace here. Yeah. What is going, the tricks, the dirty deeds are going to be exposed. They're going to bring him down. Yes, sir. They sure are going to bring him down. So you've got the devil and you've got the tower sitting underneath it. This is their goal. This is their intention. And this is what they're going to accomplish, because ultimately the truth is going to move this situation forward a lot faster than you think. And there is going to be good news and success coming forward from this. The world is watching. Okay, how bad is this? You got the devil, the tower, and death literally within a handful of cards of each other. Well, this was, of course, back to back, and a handful of cards took us here. So there you have it. The impeachment inquiry behind the scenes is going brilliantly. The information coming out is truly better than they could have hoped for, more than they wished for. So that is like really awesome news. And it's just somehow really fitting, in my opinion, to have this female energy kind of pushing back and saying, you know what, really, we're so far beyond your antiquated ideas and opinions. It is really time for a hard pushback, and that is exactly what we're going to do. And so that's very cool and very exciting. And now, this reminds me of something that I want to share with you, and you, of course, are not under the slightest bit of obligation, but if you want to look, it would be kind of cute. So my daughter has a friend whose little sister, I think she's 12, has started this tiny little cottage industry, if you will, a little tiny cottage business. She's 12 years old, and the story is when she was very little, very little, she was very much into women's rights and you know, women being strong and capable and just as able as anybody else. Her mother used to call her the little feminist. So this little 12-year-old kid started this tiny little business, and she makes things like this little keychain. This thing says, be happy, be bright, be you. Little fridge magnets that say, this one says stand out, loud and proud. These things are like a couple of bucks, okay? And what is so cool about it is, aside from the cost of the material she uses, all of it, all of the proceeds get donated to feminist causes. This is a 12-year-old kid, for God's sakes, in little Alberta, just trying to make her mark. If you are even remotely interested in just taking a look, I have two websites for you. One is www.littlefeminist.ca. And the other one on Facebook and Instagram is at Little Feminist Online. And little is lowercase, and the word feminist starts with a capital F. I will try to get my handy dandy person who puts stuff, deals with stuff on the computer. I'm going to get them to add that little tag in the box below. This kid is adorable. And so, especially for Canadians, you know, if you want to take a look at it, and literally for a couple of bucks, you can support a little girl with a really, really good cause. And since this really is starting to feel almost like a resurgence of the feminist energy of, you know, the 70s and 80s, this feels like once again we are stepping into a bigger, more powerful power. We are ascending our thrones as female energy. And it's awesome to see women supporting women and generations coming together to pull things together and make them work. That is the end of my sales spiel. But honestly, this little kid just touches my heart. It's so sweet. Okay, a Little Feminist, either .ca or Little Feminist Online. So, thank you again. The support is unbelievable. Thank you to all of my new subscribers. And honestly, in fact, all of my subscribers are new subscribers because this is really quite a new channel. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate your indulgence in me talking about this sweet little 12-year-old who's doing what she can for the betterment of the female energy. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care. Be well. And I'll see you soon. Bye.